What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yoon. You're watching a Ragin Ronin review. Got a review for you. Last weekend I saw Blackkklansman. It's the latest film from director Spike Lee, and I gotta be completely honest with y'all, I actually haven't seen a whole lot of Spike Lee films. Spike Lee joints, if you will. That's what they call them. I haven't seen a whole lot of Spike Lee joints. I've seen Inside Man, which was a decent heist thriller. I've also seen Old Boy, which was a completely unnecessary remake. I don't even know why Spike Lee decided to take on that project. And also I've seen Malcolm X, but I can't remember anything about it, so you might as well say that I haven't actually seen it, just because it's so long ago, can't remember anything about it. And now I've seen a fourth film from his, and that is Blackkklansman, which is a pretty interesting project because it's actually based off of a true story about the very first black cop in 1970s Colorado Springs who ends up infiltrating the KKK. He ends up working undercover and he infiltrates the KKK. Now, ain't that something? And it ends up being even more interesting knowing the fact that it's a true story. So that's pretty crazy. This movie stars Adam Driver, Topher Grace, and also John David Washington, who plays the lead role. And I actually haven't seen anything from John David Washington. At least I thought I haven't seen anything from him. But then it turns out that he was in Malcolm X. And his career has come full circle because he worked on a film with Spike Lee, Malcolm X, at the very beginning of his career. And that film is about, it's got a very similar subject matter. I mean, Malcolm X was about the liberation of African Americans and then in America. And then now we have Blackkklansman, which has a similar subject matter, not quite completely similar, but at least it's about infiltrating a hate group that is obviously against African Americans. So very, very similar subject matter, and like I said, his career has come full circle with that with this film. Anyways, definitely looking forward to this film, and I'm gonna give you my review. I'm gonna give you my expectations first, and then I'm gonna later tell you what I thought of it. So I expect this film to have lots of police brutality. I don't know why, but I just felt that with a film with this type of subject matter, we're gonna see a bit of police brutality. And I also expect to see a lot of scenes involving racism, like racist moments and racism. I expect to see a lot of that. Just because, well, that's what this movie's about. That's kind of like the theme of this movie, and well, at least that's what I think. And it's about infiltrating a hate group. And I think there's going to be a bunch of scenes that's going to make me, or make the audience feel uncomfortable because of the amount of hate that this group has towards people of color. So that's what I expect to see, and I definitely expect it to be a very deep and profound film. After all, it is a reflection of the times, especially since the same sort of thing is happening now. So yeah, those are my expectations. I've seen a film that was a pretty good movie. That actually was quite a great film, and my expectations were not exceeded in a surprising type of way. I thought there was going to be a lot of police brutality in this movie, and there really wasn't any of that, and I guess I shouldn't have thought of that because, well, this movie isn't really a movie about racism. Yes, racism is the theme, but it's not all about that. It's more of a cop movie. It's like a cop thriller, and there's a lot of detective work going on. There's like undercover work, and it's a cop story. It's a true cop story, true crime thriller. I mean, it's not like totally intense, but there's a lot of really great moments in this film. So it definitely exceeded my expectations in the sense that it ended up being better than I thought, but I expected to see different things. I also didn't expect this movie to be this funny. Now, it's not, I don't think it's like considered like comedy, but it just, a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie just ends up being quite funny. And I don't know if that's intentional, but it definitely drew a few laughs from me and the audience. But it's a little bit quirky, and mainly because of the time that this movie took place in. Different times, people acted differently back then, and so a lot of that is reflected in I guess, a very accurate portrayal of the time. So Spike Lee did a great job in recreating that period. So yeah, my expectations were definitely met, exceeded, and I had also different expectations, but definitely a very great film. Let me tell you something that worked for me, that I really liked about this film, and that was John David Washington's acting. I think that he put on a really, really great performance, and it's just a very unexpected performance. I thought that his character would be more jive, if you will. Jive talking, because this is the 1970s, but he really did a great job talking more like his partner or being more like his partner, and that was just a reflection of who his character really is or really was. So that was actually really interesting, and I liked his performance. Adam Driver, Topher Grace, also great performances from them. So those are some things that I really, really like. But I also love the chemistry between the actors. They all have some really great scenes, and it's all under the direction of masterful direction of Spike Lee. So there are a lot of great performances in there. I like that a lot of the moments. I mean, there are moments that really make you feel uncomfortable, just like how I was mentioning in my expectations, that there are going to be scenes that is going to make me uncomfortable by the amount of hatred that these people have in their blood, and it just really adds more to the storytelling, the storytelling value, because you really believe that like this type of hatred is so real, and it's really scary, and it just really makes you feel like uncomfortable as you're watching it. And it's just a really effective way to bring the audience into the story and making it feel so immersive. It was such a really dark time, and you really get a feeling of that as you're watching the film. I actually can't think of too many things that didn't work for me in this movie. I guess if I had to say or mention one thing, I guess I guess I would have wanted more scenes with John David Washington's character Ron Stallworth with with the actual KKK. There are some scenes of that, but I think I wanted more of that interaction, or rather, actually, when I'm thinking about it more, I think I wanted to see more scenes where Adam Driver's character Flip Zimmerman being I wanted to see more scenes where he's in more intense situations where he could potentially be caught. I think that would have made it more intense, but actually what they did was great. I mean, there were a lot of moments of intensity, but I think I would have liked to see more of that, because a lot of those moments just make you feel on edge. Like, is he going to be discovered as an undercover cop, right? And I really love those scenes, and it really just made me feel that, okay, this is an exciting moment in the film. So I guess I would have wanted to see more of that, but really, with a movie that clocks in at 135 minutes, they can only put in so much. And, I'm not complaining or anything, but I just love those moments. I'm just trying to say that those moments were great. I would have loved to see more of it, but they still did a really great job keeping everything very, very tight. So I really don't have that many complaints about this film, if any at all. Overall, this is a great film. I think that, in a way, it's an important film. I think people should watch this film, especially if you are somebody that is, you are very, you want to stay connected with what's truly happening around the world, or rather in America, and even around the world, but especially in America. It's not a great time. There's a lot of violence going on, and this film is a reminder of that. And it just really shows you that nothing has really changed, and it's really quite a sad thing. And movies like this are, movies are meant to entertain, and I did find it very entertaining. But there are also movies that are entertaining and also are thought-provoking, as well as ones that send a message. This is a film that sends a message, and it really is a film that, it has the entertainment value, but it's got that deep and profound storytelling that really makes you feel. It really makes you come out of the theater talking about it. And it's not just about talking about how you enjoyed it and how you had such a good time you had, but it's talking about, like, wow, this is truly something important, something special, something that is really makes you wonder and feel about what's going on today in the current moment in this time we live in. So there you have it. There's not much more I have to say about this film. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. A very, very good movie. Definitely the best Spike Lee film I've ever seen. I've only seen 4 of them, but this is a really, really great film, and it's all pulled through with some really great acting, great dialogue and chemistry between the characters, and of course some really great direction from director Spike Lee. So 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend this film. And there you have it. As always, if you enjoyed this review, you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.